Titus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure channel on YouTube the inhabitants call Graphic Man.
How peaceful it looks.
Most effective, Your Majesty. Will you destroy this Graphic Man?
Later. I like to play with things a while before annihilation.
Graphic Man, he likes to draw stuff. Graphic Man, he's reading comic books.
Do you know how close he came to being activated this week?
None other than
Graphic Man, he streams on Wednesdays. He finds comics for us, does it with no fuss. He draws with a shaky hand, Bronze Age, Silver Age, Golden Age, is Graphic Man. Graphic Man is just a guy from Missouri, and I'll never stop drawing till his eyes get blurry. Please, someone stop him. I'll never stop drawing. Thought it was a metaphor, but he just never stop it. Please, someone help him. It's been 36 hours. You have to stop drawing. Please stop drawing. Graphic Man, I want you to think of
Why are you still drawing?
Please stop drawing. Please stop drawing.
So long.
I'm staging an intervention.
Just keep drawing. How much paper do you have? How much paper is there? How much paper did you start cutting down the forest?
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you're all doing good today. I am your host, Graphic Man, and I am joined by our foreign correspondent, Paulo Costa. Hello, Paulo.
Hey there.
Eric Green is below us. And Charlton 66 doing
Hey,
fine.
everybody.
We should be joined later by hopefully Spinner Rack, possibly Howler Mouse, and Gratu. In the chat earlier, we saw Dr. Silver Age. He can't make it tonight. Jambo can't make it. But we have good guests in the crowd. Jackson's, of course, here. I'm not too certain about this guy, Eric. He's a possible troublemaker.
Multiple.
Yeah. And there's Gray Man over in England.
Hey, Green Man. What's up, man?
Bronco Bears watching in
Hey,
Israel.
Bronco.
So we have an international cast. Got all the bases covered. So how's everybody?
All right.
All good hosts ask that. So I got it out of the way. So
Even if they don't mean it.
I mean it. I actually miss you guys when I don't see you. So I'd like to start off by showing a couple of sci-fi books. Hope you guys don't mind sci-fi.
Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, I'm gonna have sci-fi myself.
Well, good. Unofficial theme. Captain Venture.
Yes. Nice. Look at that cover. Wow.
Yeah, I got lucky. I mean, there's a little crease there, but not too shabby. That is a wild,
Yeah.
absolutely wild. This is issue number 1. I believe there was only 2 issues. You guys have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this was based on anything except just kind of like a kooky idea they had. I don't think it was a TV show or anything, but I'm glad to finally get that. Last year I showed Black Hole number 1. Here's number 2.
Yay.
And so halfway done. Number 4 is the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
But I just love starting off with Gold Key and Whitman. And if Jambo can watch this later, he might appreciate Star Trek 24. This is that famous ROM crossover, ROM Space Knight, as you can see. That must be a Dire-Wrath there they're fighting.
Or Triton mated with a Sleestack.
Yeah, there you go. The Wizard of Oz crossover before Marvel and Wizard of Oz. And Star Trek 50. I don't know if I'll ever get all of Star Treks, but I'm getting off to a pretty good start. I'll catch Jambo eventually.
That's a great film.
He's got the gold key run of Star Trek. Keeping with the sci-fi, Lost in Space 46.
Very cool. Very cool.
And another Lost in Space, number 54. There we go.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know if you guys have the whole run of Logan's Run. It's a pretty easy one to pick up. Doesn't go too long. I have the very famous variant cover with no comics code. So
Good stuff. George Perez artwork is really a good series.
I agree.
The movie.
I agree.
Love the movie.
So here, grab number 3.
Yeah.
So the blonde at the back, I think, is supposed to be Farrah Fawcett, if I remember serving you right. So really good artwork.
Oh yeah, George Perez knocked it out of the park on these.
Here's number 4 with that box guy.
Box. Yep.
Yeah.
Processes the people. Yeah.
I think the original story was they're all you have to turn yourself in when you get to be about 20. But Hollywood said, that really limits us as far as finding people to play the parts.
Oh, okay.
So I think they raised it to age 39 or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Michael York was pretty old when he did that,
And here's number 7 just for giggles. So I really recommend you guys try to pick up the whole run.
Agreed.
Not quite science fiction, but we'll end on a little Grimm's ghost story. And I'm going to be really silly. And you see that's Johnny Storm's dad. and I can tell you guys don't believe me. So I prepared a little demonstration here. There he is. All right. Now, do y'all remember Fantastic Four 196? And I think you need more convincing. So there he is.
Wow.
Now, notice he says you killed me. So he is a ghost, and therefore he came from Grimm's Ghost Story. So
wow. Very cool.
Of course,
Can you set that issue on fire so we can know for sure?
Yeah. So be sure to go out and get that. I'm sure it's
yeah.
Big key speculator, Johnny Storm's dad. So that's what Gratu would say. That's a key issue. So Well, I would usually turn it over to Dr. Silver Age, but Paulo probably is in a hurry to get going, so we'll see if he can send me something to look at. In the meantime, I'll get caught up with.
Well, I've got the sharing ready.
All right.
All right, so let's go to François Bourgeon. The only person in the chat that might recognize this name is Gore Vidal, and even that I'm not sure, because this cover that you're looking at here is the only Bourgeon book that was ever published in English by Casterman in the 1980s, and nothing else. This, in spite of the fact that Bourgeon is one of the most well-regarded writers and artists in French comics in the 1980s and 90s. This is from a series called The Companions of Dawn. It lasted for 3 albums. There's a complete story.
Mm.
And this is volume 1. The story is set in the late Middle Ages during the 100 Years' War, and features a little bit of magic. Although that's not the point of the story. Okay, so this is volume 2. Yeah.
Wow.
And the final album in the series.
Wow.
Very detailed art. I think that this series is what got Bourgeon on the map, both as a writer and artist. He wrote and drew this series, and he usually writes and draws everything by himself. Although it takes him about 3 years to complete an album, if he's dedicates himself to it. The next one, this was a one-shot with a series of short stories. The Passenger of Time. Most of the stories were actually written by François Cortegiani. Bourgeon just handled the art. So it's a series of vignettes. Not exactly the most well-regarded of his works. Now this one is a favorite of mine. The Passengers of the Wind. It's a story of a woman who travels in a slaver ship around the African Gold Coast in the 18th century. Volume 2. It's just the same that the covers don't actually allow you to imagine what it's like inside, because this is very good art. If you like the cover art for the companions of Dusk, this series has much better art. This is where Bourgeon became the Bourgeon that we like. This is the series that made him famous.
Paulo, I know you can't see comments when you're in this mode, but Gore Vidal says Passengers of the Wind is the one he's always wanted. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to have to either get it in French or in Spanish.
Wow.
So this is volume 3. They spent a lot more time on dry land on this book. This is the woman's bodyguard in Africa. And volume 4.
Wow.
Volume 5. I believe this was the last one in the 90s. Then there was a problem with the publisher, and Bourgeon didn't get back to the series for about 20 years.
Wow.
So volume 6, 7, and 8 are much more recent, and the story moves forward by about 100 years to Louisiana. And here is Bourgeon's science fiction series, the Science Saga. He had help by Lacroix, both with the writing and the art. Lacroix was basically his assistant. So you because of that you do see a little bit of a different style, although the ground the framework is still there. The end product has a different feel to it. The story is set in a future where there's trade between the planets and the stars, and the story of Harris, of a trading family. Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Yeah, this one also had a problem with the publisher. They had to go to court. Because of even though in France usually the comics are creator owned, the artists always retain the rights to the work, but that doesn't mean that they have exactly editorial control. So the publishers have the right to demand more work from them, and to let them know if they approve a script or not. And depending on the contract, there's even the possibility that the publisher can take the comic away from the original creator and give it to somebody else, although they will always have to give them monetary compensation in the form of royalties. But in this case, they had to go to court, and at first the court decided in favor of the publisher, but then that was reversed in a higher court, and Bourgeon managed to publish this in a small press venture, but he sold practically the same thing that he used to when he had a big publisher.
Interesting, very interesting.
Even for volume 5, he changed publisher again.
So would the interior be similar to the cover?
Yeah. These are the two big series. It was the Passengers of the Wind and the Science Saga, but I prefer the Passengers of the Wind, even though it's historical fiction. I think Bourgeon did his best work there instead of here. Although by this time he was famous, so he could sell better here.
Okay.
This is volume 6. So he's back with a big publisher here. You can see the Delcourt logo. And yeah, that's it for now.
All right.
Sweet.
Well, while you were in that mode, you couldn't see all the comments, but I wanted you to see Jackson Roykirk when you were talking about Passengers of the Wind. He had that to say. So
yeah.
So I want you to get the full effect of this whole show. So
actually, there were a few publishers, even big publishers in France, that if you said that you wanted to make a parody with a name like that, they would do it.
All right. I agree, Gore. They're very beautiful.
Yeah, they're great books.
The art looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe we should run to Eric.
All right. I just reached into a box, just pulled out a couple of handfuls, but
I clicked right on it. And that's twice. That happened to me last time. I hit keep it before Steve. So go ahead, Eric.
Okay, but I'm going to start with a couple here. Midnight Tales number 5.
Yes.
And then I guess at some point, Steve, your boys just started phoning it in because he was close to man number 40.
Yeah. I know. It's it's kind of cheap. It's kind of a cheap shot, but yeah.
Well, you know, they said every 3 years the comic book fandom turns over.
Yeah.
Here's the seldom seen second issue of the Cougar.
Yeah, that's you don't see that too often.
Let's see, Dark Shadows number 5.
Nice.
Barabas Collins.
Donald Duck, Merry Christmas.
All right.
Nice.
It's never too early to start thinking about the holidays again.
No.
Drag Strip Hot Rodders.
Oh, yeah.
15.
think it's Jack Keller, I think, did the artwork on that, I think.
Dynamo #1.
Cool.
Wow, that was very good.
Very cool.
I guess #2 is in another box because here's #3.
Yeah, I love that cover. Great stuff.
He had a great costume.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Ellery Queen.
Hey.
Elmer Fudd. They go together. One of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, good stuff.
Let's see. I'll do 2 more, 3 more and finish this one. The FBI story.
Cool.
That was back when they investigate things.
And everybody had a war book, even Tower. Here's Fight.
Yeah.
Fighting.
And I've shown this before, but why not show it again? Flintstones at the World's Fair.
Yay.
That's awesome. I got that book somewhere. That's great.
Mine's the 3rd printing.
How many things were there?
Just 3, yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty much identical, I guess, but anyway. Fantastic.
That was
Fantastic.
good stuff.
All right. Well, Steve, are you ready to roll?
I am ready to roll.
Let's see if I can't mess this up. There.
All
One
right.
click. All right.
All right. This is a pile I took. I was going to reread this pile. Just took it randomly from a box. So we got to show it tonight. Nice copy. Space 1999 1. This has got Joe Staten artwork. Nick Cuddy wrote the story. And of course, John Byrne did some of these stories as well. But what's funny is that apparently John Byrne, according to John Byrne on his website, said they had to ship, Charlton had to send the artwork to the studios to see if they approved the likenesses of the actors and stuff. So I don't know how much flack Joe Staten got, but John Byrne apparently had to redraw some stuff, and it was more of a hassle than what it was worth. So that's why I think it didn't last very long, because of them handling, I don't know what studio Space 1999 was with, ABC, CBS, I can't remember, but I remember loving it as a kid. And there's also a black and white magazine of this title as well.
Yeah, the art of the main characters was pretty much spot on.
Yeah, I think so. I think they did a great job. Gray Morrow did all the artwork for Space 1999, the black and white magazine. He did the cover and all the interior, which is phenomenal stuff. Strange Suspense Stories, #1, Volume 3 has Jim Aparo artwork. And I can't remember if I showed this or not. It got stuck in the file. I can't remember. But I like the Unknown Alien.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I don't think you've seen it or shown it.
Cool. Here's number 46 with Vulcan. Cool. Son of Vulcan. Pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty hokey, but in a cool, fun way.
Yeah.
Marvel Team Up got shoved in here because I really want to read the Deathlock story. I picked this up not too long ago. Well, less than 6 months ago, but I haven't read it yet. And I like Deathlock a lot. Not a big Spider-Man fan, but I am a fan of the Deathlock and the secondary characters. The Fumetti book. Fumetti, how do you want to say Fumetti?
Okay.
Book. That was always good. It's like a slice of history. It's always fun to read. And speaking of Thunder Agents, which this cover, I don't like the blurb on it. It takes away from everything. But number 19, the Thunder Agents taken. I think the covers are reprinted, but I think the stories in here are reprinted, if I'm not mistaken.
Listen, given how much Micah likes Gil Kane, that thing in the middle is probably his favorite part of the cover.
Oh, it's beautiful. It should have been bigger.
And back to a little bit of tower action. The Undersea Agent. Number 2. Big fan of the Thunder Agents. And I agree with Micah, man. Dynamo's costume is just phenomenal. This again, last issue I'll show. We can go to somebody else. Tell us Suspense 37. 2 more issues until the big guy makes his appearance. This is number 37.
Mine has some chipping on the edge. Go ahead, Paulo.
Also, that is the last monster story of the Marvel pre-superhero age.
Have I showed this before? Because I think you mentioned that.
Well, I keep mentioning that everywhere. I like to mention that.
Okay, maybe I showed that before. I just don't remember. It just got shoved in this pile.
Yeah, I think the monster in my window was the month before that one with Hag.
Okay. All right, cool. That's awesome. All right. Thank you.
Kratu's getting a pizza.
We get his pizza.
And his mother's in town, so he may not be joining us tonight. So we'll try to hang in there till maybe Howler can join us or Spinner Rack. Thought I'd do a little DC. If you remember last time, I showed you guys this where I've got the Brave and Bold Commandy.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I'm showing that to you, and I told you guys I was going to put this in the box for Commandy. I picked up Superman and Commandy. DC Presents number 64.
Awesome cover.
December 1983.
Great artist.
The 11th grade. Yeah, that's good stuff.
So that goes. I have to figure out where in story wise. Eric, do you remember? Because at one point, Commandy is with the Superman costume. All the guys are fighting over it. So was that before that or this? I don't remember.
I think I was during the Commandy series, so it had been before.
Okay. This is a reprint, but it's remember that Millennium edition they did. Well, got an old Lois Lane. There's that label there, Millennium.
Mm-hmm.
But,
those are getting pricey too. The Millennium editions, they're like $25 a pop, depending on what it is.
Oh, this was $2.
Wow.
So earlier I talked about a nice little series to pick up is Logan's Run. But you guys should really try to get your hands on the DC Shadow.
Yes.
Now, I love showing this cover. It's Mike Kaluta because that is some of the best art. I mean, just look at that gun. And then here's the other gun. And that's a little blurry, but even down to the railroad tracks and all the railings and I don't know how long that took to make that, but
I know, right?
That is just beautiful.
It's great stuff.
Now, they went to a guy by the name of Frank Robbins,
and I like Frank Robbins a lot. I love it.
And how I met Eric was he was mentioning Frank Robbins on an auction site. And I put the comment in there, Frank is an acquired taste.
Yes, he is. But I think I love it.
And since then, Eric and I have chatted numerous times on there. Anytime an old book came up, which was rare, but here's some he's great, Mr. Robbins. But notice his signature, the S is so big that flees from the bottom word, but
I have 2 or 3 Johnny Hazard stories in compilations, and his comic strip was very, very good. His best work is in the comic strip and not in the comic books.
And Metarog is in the crowd. Hello, Meta.
Hey, what's up, guy? How you doing? Yeah, it's hard to go from Kaluta to Rob. I know that juxtaposition is kind of crazy, but
so in between, like you're saying, Steve, here's a little Joe Kubert.
Yeah.
Which is awkward, being on this tightrope. I don't know if you guys have ever walked on a tightrope and held a lady up to your side. It takes incredible balance. The gun, it must be real heavy because it's balancing this woman really nicely.
Yeah. But his face of the shadow is just so good. Yeah.
So anyway, there's about, I don't know, 13 of these.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple where he went with Batman. So
Mm-hmm.
get your hands on, because they don't own the rights to Shadow anymore. They can't reprint these. So we're back to Mr. Kaluta again. And, really, really cool stuff.
It is very one. He meets the Avenger, which I thought was very cool.
Earlier, Steve and I were talking about the Shadow radio show.
So good. So good.
Anyway, I highly recommend it.
Agreed.
It shouldn't take you long to find them either. But thought I'd show a few. So
that's good stuff. Good call.
Maybe that'll inspire somebody.
Question, Steve, how long did it take you to acquire that taste?
You know what? It was funny. I was reading the Invaders the other day, and I thought to myself, as a kid, I couldn't stand it.
Yep.
But as I got older, it just appealed to me. It's so organic. I don't know. It just appeared to me. I don't know. But it took a while.
I'm the same way.
I'm 55, so it took me at least 40 years to acquire it.
I griped through every issue because, like, finally get an issue that he's not drawing. Oh, it's Lee Elia, who was so far past his prime by then.
Yeah.
But now I can't imagine anybody else doing the art. And graphic, you know that the thing about the Logan's Run issue that makes one of them more expensive than the rest, don't you?
They introduce a character, don't they?
There's it might be the first, but there's a Thanos solo story.
Mm-hmm.
Just tossed in either 5 or 6. I can't remember which.
I don't think
6.
I showed it. Yeah, I don't think I showed it.
And the thing is, it isn't that good.
No, it's not.
No, it was part of a series of short stories that they came up with to do a test run for new writers. That was written by Scott Edelman. There was in an Iron Man annual. They put out a story by the Master of Kung Fu character Midnight, which was the first work that they had written by Roger Stern. And there were a couple more of that sort, between 4 and 8 pages. There was a Vision story, which was published in the Tales to Astonish reprint book from the 79-80.
That, if it's the one, is it the one that Herb Trimpe drew where he fights the whirlwind? When he steps out in front of a truck and smashes it, and the trucker gets out. And that originally appeared in the Avengers annual that year.
Mm-hmm.
And back on the Shadow, real quick on the comic book, but Bernie Wrightson was slated to draw the Shadow, and he got other assignments because the spot illustrations, from what I read in Back Issue Magazine, there's actually ad that they used that had Bernie Wrightson drawing the Shadow, saying it's coming, it's a spot illustration for the in-company stuff, but it never came to fruition, obviously. Can you imagine Bernie drawing the Shadow?
Oh, wow.
That would have been nice.
My first introduction to Frank Robbins, it's Detective Comics. I'm going to say 418. I could be wrong. It has I believe, a Kaluta cover, but I never saw that My copy when I was a little child was a coverless. Found a box of coverless comics, and it's Detective Comics. It's where Batman goes and gets this guy who's been cheating by playing Russian roulette, and he rigs the gun so where you get all the way up to 6, and you shouldn't dare press the trigger, but Batman does Russian roulette with this guy. So I don't know if a little kid I should have reading, where all these guys are trying to kill themselves, but that was Frank Robbins, and then I first noticed him in the Invaders, and I thought this guy is. But by the time you get to the Shadow, you start to like it. So.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary, but as Metarog says, yeah, even the torch.
Yeah, he did have him sweating.
So.
I saw a comic where Iron Man was sweating. So.
Yeah.
Well, condensation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
He was straining. In fact, he was straining to pull something out of a well. I think it might have been just like Spider-Man, and that weight was enough to make his armor sweat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dramatic effect.
Sure. All right, Apollo, you probably need to show us round 2 pretty soon.
Yep. So let's go share screen again.
All right.
Okay, so now let's introduce the artist Eddie Papp. This is one of his most famous series, Luc Orient. It's a science fiction series that's contemporary of the early Valerian and also of Barbarella. So it's got the weird stuff from Barbarella, but it's more cartoony than Valerian. The first album, the Fire Dragons, although that's not a dragon, that's a snake. This series is written by Greg Michel Régnier, who is better known for creating the characters Bruno Brazil and Comanche in the Western series Comanche. Volume 2, the Ice Suns. So yeah, this is ostensibly science fiction, but it is mostly adventures set in alien landscapes.
I like this.
Third volume, The Master of Tarango. It's funny that the style the style is already going towards what Pilote magazine became, but it was still published in Journal de Tintin, which was supposed to be much more subdued of what its competitors Pirou and Pilote were doing. Volume 4, The Planet of Anguish.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Volume 5, The Steel Forest. So yeah, this has crazy stuff all around it, and each album has nothing to do with the other. It's like in one is fighting, like in this one is got this fighting flying thing that's green, and here it's got this tripod robots. So yeah, great, nothing to do with each other. Another one, Secret of the Seven Lights. And you noticed that was the 7th album, and this is the 8th. And while these were published only 10 months apart, it's a complete redesign of the strip at least in terms of cover. Here with a painted cover, I almost don't recognize it. So yeah, La Cratère dos Sortilèges, the Crater of Incantations.
That's like a very interesting series. I really like this. It resonates with me pretty well. Kind of reminds me of a Doc Savage type of character.
Yeah. I don't know if any of this was ever published in English. If it was, it would probably be mostly in the UK. The Legion of the Damned Angels.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, almost sounds American, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You could, yeah. It's just a shame that this kind of stuff never got to the USA. I think this series in particular would have made it, even if each comic is 44 pages
Mm-hmm.
in a large format. But if the magazine publishers should have at least given these ones a try. They instead of just paying the Spanish artists to come up with fluff. 24 hours for planet Earth. Yeah, much more conceptual cover here.
Huh.
Is that a chameleon?
Sort of.
Chameleon scorpion thing.
Yeah, chameleons.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Sixth Continent. I think this is the last. Yeah, I think this is the last cover I'm showing. The series actually had 18 albums, although I think I only took out the first 10 to show here, because I wanted to show a couple of other series, like this one, an early series, pirate book. Well, there are only 2 albums, Yorick of the Storms.
Wow, that's a Doctor Strange, Peter Pan. Why?
That's something. Like a gun and sword.
Yeah, this was the second album. So yeah, almost doesn't look like it, because the first one has the main hero front and center, and the second one has a pirate ship and some floating masks. So there were no further books. The Pop who went on to draw something else, and Duchateau had the other series to focus on as a writer. This is another book that Pop created with Jean-Michel Charlier, who created the Blueberry Western comic. This is the only book from the André Lefort series, the Riddle of the Golden Diadem.
Wow.
So yeah, not as good as the other ones, as you can see from the cover, but so I'm not surprised that it didn't go further. Even with Charlier writing, just didn't go. And it's an interesting 2-part series. This is a biography of Winston Churchill. The first volume centered on in his youth as in the military, and the second one now in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So was Winston Churchill really big where you live?
No, not really. We don't care.
Yeah.
Although I once tried smoking a Winston Churchill type cigar, and yeah, you can't smoke that thing in one sitting.
Those
So,
are
yeah,
interesting. I like that.
yeah, that is the thing. Eddie Pop, as I explained, there was a break of 10 months between one album and the next one, and that means you're a very prolific artist in French comics.
Okay.
So yeah, the Eddie Pop used to he was good at at handling various types of genres, but it's the Luc Orion series that's best known. Yeah, you can still buy. Yeah, you can still buy recent reprints of that series, both in individual albums and the Integral series. The Integral is where they put three to four albums in a single hardcover edition, and it's the quickest way to catch up with a historical series that I've handed and had a lot of books. And if you have more than 10 albums, your series is considered long running.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Very cool.
All right. Eric, you got any more for us?
Yeah.
Have you been keeping up with that chat? My goodness.
Yeah, Black Cat is one wrench away from oblivion. Forbidden Worlds.
That's nice.
There's number 59.
Oh, that's cool. I like that series.
Now, it's the one that will make me the envy of the panel.
Uh-oh. Hey! Nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hans can keep his complete set of amazing fantasy. I have Frankenstein.
Priorities.
That's right. Ghostly Tales.
Cool.
You know, so I alphabetize my boxes. That's sensing a pattern here.
Wow.
For a couple issues, Jim Aparo did the covers, and this is it's a reprint, but in the 70s he did the covers in an interior story about 4 issues in a row. Here's issue 10 of Ghost Stories.
Cool.
I love those. And the font is so good too.
And have another.
Yeah. Great.
There's issue of Girls' Romances.
Sweet.
That girl down there the one there, she looks evil. Look at that face.
Yeah, she does.
She looks like she could be one of Granny Goodness's henchwomen.
There was a girl in Richie Rich that looked just like that. And she was slightly evil. Yeah.
There's issue of Go-Go.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, man. I don't think too much of those.
And there's a Go-Go and Animal.
Yeah.
Here's an issue of Groovy.
Wow, I hadn't even heard of that.
I hadn't either till about a year ago.
Marvel book.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 3 issues, I believe.
That is correct. There's issue of Haunted.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
And Groovy was not made by the Marvel staff. I think they outsourced that thing.
There's number 10. I'll take your word for that, because when I read it, I don't think I recognize the names in there, but and here's number 15. And that will wrap up this round.
You can't hear me. Here I'm saying I could stare at Forbidden Worlds all day long. I had the microphone on. There's a Star Wars conversation going on here. Okay. Yeah, Forbidden Worlds, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
All 3 of those, it was Unknown Worlds and
yeah.
Oh God, what's the other? My Q Black Cat here. My brain's turned to mush. I can't think of the third title.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm not that knowledgeable on ACG.
And I've shown issues of it. We all have. And
Forbidden World.
Thank you.
Forbidden, Unknown, and Journey.
Oh, and there's some that started with an A, wasn't there?
Probably. Strange Life should tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cheat.
Miss Money.
No, I can't remember her name. She doesn't show up much.
Adventures into the Unknown.
There you go. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Yep. By about 3 seconds.
Well, if you have Night Tiger, Mike, are you home? Go turn on your camera and get some comics out. We need you.
He's in his truck.
Oh,
yeah. I talked to him earlier today. He's driving back.
I thought he'd have joined the blockade in Canada.
he knows to let me. He knows to let me know through Instagram if he's ever available. So, all right, Steve, you got something for me?
I do.
Fantastic.
Talking about Dynamo.
There's a great costume.
Oh, cool.
Cool statue that DC put out in 2002. They only made 500 of this. And the detail is just phenomenal. They made one of Dynamo of No Man, which I also have. But they didn't make anybody else. So I don't know what happened.
So no weed statue?
Huh?
No weed?
No weed. No weed.
No lightning?
No lightning. No Mentor, how do you want to say his name?
No Iron Maiden?
No Iron Maiden. Just No Man and Dynamo.
Not even the Chief?
No.
So now you got to go get 499 more of those. Then.
The Dynamo, I mean the No Man one I have, he's got the little bust of Professor Dunn, which is kind of cool. All right, let's see some more of this reading pile. Let's see, we've got House of Mystery with the great cover with Zook on it. Everyone loves Zook. Everyone loves this guy. This is number 143. Got a little Dahlias for Hero action with Plastic Man, which is like his introduction to see how it would play out for the Silver Age. And we all know how that, he got his various titles and stuff. And you got to have good old King Candy with his licorice whip. That's, everyone needs a licorice whip.
Yeah, we need a comeback from him.
His licorice lasso. I'm sorry, his licorice lariat. I'm sorry. Not his licorice whip. King Candy. And this is Steve Savage, the Balloon Buster Men of War 112. Kind of cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, very cool.
I like it. I like it a lot. Supervillain team up. Talking about short series. Micah's talking about short series to collect. It's kind of goofy in certain ways, but supervillain team up. It's still a short run. That's relatively cheap and it's fun to collect. The Shroud first appears. Not that really anybody cares about the Shroud, but I like the Shroud. First appearance supervillain team up.
Yeah, I think there's only like 16 or.
Yeah, it's not that many issues. Yeah, and it's a fun series for what it is.
Yeah.
Charlton Action Hero, Charlton Action featuring the Static, which is number 12. Here's number 11, which is Ditko's very much his mindset on the world through Static and Mr. A and all that kind of good stuff. This is a nice copy of number 12. Nice, pretty wearing white there. Great stuff. I enjoy it, even though a lot of people don't like it. My Greatest Adventure, which is one of the coolest titles I think ever on a comic book. 66.
Yeah.
I love that title. My Greatest Adventure. So it sounds like an old radio show, Micah, doesn't it?
Yes.
Doesn't it? It's my Greatest Adventure.
And it kind of reminds me of Stan Lee, any Monster Comic Stan Lee. I survived this, or I met the abominable snowman, or I did this, or I did that.
And here's one coming to you, Eric. I got a few more I'm going to send out to you, but this is coming to you as soon as I can get a couple books together.
Cool.
Young Love number 84.
And the corners look really good too.
Yeah, it's a nice book.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
Yeah. So I know Eric likes the romance books. Yeah, this is number 84. I don't know what year it's from, but it's a nice copy. I'm gonna set that one to the side. A couple more books, and we'll go to somebody else. See what we got here. Got some Shazam action. Number 11.
Oh, wow, it's been a while since I've been that one.
Shazam number 29.
Excellent. The DC TV.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's got a good one too with the DC TV logo. I like it. The blue on this looks really good together.
Yeah, it's nice to get those two to fight each other every now and then.
Yeah.
Just to tease. We're going to bring in Spinner Rack, but you go right ahead, Steve.
Okay. This is good. Minuteman, I think, is his name. I think. I haven't read this one yet. It's what's in the reading pile.
Cool. Yes, you may have shown this. I joke about that chair. Yeah,
yes,
five tons. Yes, and that chair can handle that. That's
yes. Yes. All right, I'm good to go for right now.
Cool. I should blow that up and make a poster out of that.
Yeah.
Cracks me up. So.
And have I been drinking or what?
God, I hope it's your camera, not my eyes.
Earlier, it happened to me, Spinner, and I showed my white backer board. And
okay, let me try something here.
How you doing, Dave?
Good.
Now, slowly, yeah.
Boy, I don't know what happened there.
There you go.
There I am.
Start to come in. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Metarog.
I don't know if you all got to see Metarog's. It was a Sunday night showing where our lovely Jambo was able to win that, I believe. So he had a little contest with Valentine's Comics, and I only voted for Jambo once or twice. I didn't want to overdo it, so. I think I voted for another guy on something else, but highly recommend that. I don't know when they'll have their next one. But yes, King Jambo won it.
He did. What did he win?
Apparently an illness.
Love and admiration
Yeah.
From Metarog, of course.
Oh, okay.
Paulo, did you have one more showing?
No, I didn't. Although I'm going to take the opportunity to show something that I recently purchased. I'm finally building up my Will Eisner library. Fairly recent Portuguese edition of A Contract with God.
Nice.
I'm doing Eisner completely out of order. I have the name of the game, and I have Fagin the Jew, but I still need to get all the stories set on Dropsy Avenue. I've actually read the Dropsy Avenue, but I didn't buy it. I've read Signal from Noise. I didn't buy it yet, and so finally I have Contract with God, which actually it's a good place to start. But
yes,
I've read all the other stuff first.
Anytime you read Eisner, it's good to read, no matter what order. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Dave, how are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're hanging in there. We could go to you if you'd like.
Sure. The first thing I'm going to show you is I last time I told you guys a story of the first time I ever was in a comic book store was in Mile High Comics, probably about, 16, 17 years old. And I think I mentioned that one of the things that I saw on the wall that I'd never seen before, I didn't know existed, was the Marvel Treasuries. And this was the item I bought that day, which is kind of considering the Winter Olympics are going on right now, the timing of it.
Yeah,
So,
apropos.
yeah, pretty good. So yeah, this was my first purchase in a comic book store. And let's see here. I'll show a piece of Western art.
Oh, sweet.
This is it says, as you can see, probably Clay Cody #1.
Hey, Micah.
That's right.
And the interesting thing about this page is it's called a twice up size. It's not twice the size of a regular piece of art, but it's probably at least 50%.
Yes.
Steve graciously sent me a page from that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only a one-shot comic.
I have the whole story, and this is the splash page to that story.
Wow.
I only pulled the starting page here, but I can grab the rest of the pages if you want me to, real quick.
Oh yeah, we're not going to stop you.
Okay, hold on, I'll be right back. They're just over here on the other side of my desk. All right, I hope they are.
Isn't that crazy, Micah? It's the same book.
Yeah.
It was only a one-issue. Clay Cody Gunslinger was a one-issue book. So here's her bunch of pages from that one book.
I thought it was a good character. Could have easily had a second issue.
Oh yeah, it's from Pine Studio, Pines whatever, Pines Press or whatever you want to call it.
Let me get this more in order real quick. I've got it. But it's really large, which is, as you know, Micah, which is pretty cool. Here we go. All right. So here's I kind of have to sit back.
Yeah.
So there's page 2. Got this horrible glare.
No, it's looking good.
And then here's page 3. I'd have to look. Do you recall who the artist is?
I don't recall. I researched it. And I don't remember if I found out or not.
It might say on the first page. I'll have to look at that again. So there, I think it's a 9-page story. I love those wide scenes though with the vista, kind of like that middle panel there. Let me see if I can maybe get rid of. No, that doesn't get it. Get rid of the glare, but you know, I think I bought this whole story for less than $200, as I recall.
Wow.
It was just dirt cheap. I probably have had it for about 15 years. There you can see the cattle running through the fields there.
Comics.org has Bob Jenny.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bob Jenny. That's it.
The artist.
Yeah. There's an explosion down there at the bottom. I kind of like this page because they go into town and you've got that middle panel there, gunsmith, and the perspective of the cowboys coming down the street there, the road. It's pretty cool.
Dude getting shot at the last panel.
Yeah. Did you see that? Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
Guys getting blasted.
In the back.
Yeah. Comics Code didn't catch that one.
You know, the interesting thing about this older art like this is that the lines are so clean.
Yeah.
You don't see nearly as much of that cross hatching that you do on the Lee and
Brush to ink.
a lot of those artists
Nice.
from the 90s. I think they kind of over cross hatch at times.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, that's the final page. And let's see. Here it is. It says, if you can see Bob Jenny in that corner there.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've got more comic books I can show if you want me to.
Well, just a second. Let me show you page 28.
Okay.
Apparently.
Oh, wow.
It'll be a little darker. Finding a friend.
Oh, I love that that top right panel there. That's great. Oh, wow.
Good.
He was a good artist.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Steve surprised me with that. And he also sent me Clay Cody the comic. So I could actually go see the page. So, yeah, if you have something else to show, go right ahead.
Yeah, sure.
We're caught up on the text.
I'll move from Western to horror. So, and maybe you guys might know more about these. These are Yo Comics reprints from the 90s. And I don't really know much about them.
Yeah, they're Yo Comics. He puts out a bunch of stuff. Reprints horror, a lot of hardback editions. But they did a whole series of those, probably 30 something, if I'm not mistaken, of those issues. And that's very expensive. They're like $50 now.
They're actually from about 10 years ago. Because I think the series stopped like 2014 or 2015. And they also did Haunted Love, and there was a third series. They did one for romance and one for horror.
There's Mr. Smith. Yes.
It's kind of like Guandana Land, except in comic book format.
Yeah.
Right.
And the interesting thing, the cover, they're really heavy stock. Really heavy stock.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah. Craig Yo does no wrong as far as I'm concerned. He just does phenomenal work.
Amen.
He puts anything out.
Here's what you don't want to see on your cruise line.
That's a great cover, though.
And here's a guy who's having a bad day.
Yeah, classic.
I've got, let's see, two more of these. This is, of course, a famous L.B. Cole cover from Mask.
Right.
I love this art. I wish I had the original. I don't.
Yeah, really, right? That's the only way I'm going to afford it.
I've got the full set of this, but I only pulled like about 7 or 8 of them here. And here's the last one that I'll show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I've got some superhero stuff, but I can I'll let somebody else take a turn.
Okay. Looked good. Yeah, I love those horrors that you just showed. The few that I have, my favorite is where the guy and the gal are in the boat and the swamp creatures are trying to get to them. It was from Amazing Ghost Stories 14. So I've always tried to draw that cover. So I love it.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know who needs to be next, but
I think you're up.
Me?
Well, I'm taking the opportunity to bow out. It's almost 2:30.
All right, Paul. We appreciate you.
No
Thanks,
problem.
buddy. Thanks for the information, man, on those books. Incredible
Yeah.
stuff.
I wanted to do a series. We need to do something one of these days, Steve. You pick up some of the racing car comics from Charlton, and I'll show the covers to as many books as I can from the French Michel Vaillant series, which is the comic book about racing cars.
Okay, I'm sure it'll put Charlton to shame. I'm not worried about that.
Well, it'll be an interesting comparison. That's for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Throw him some speed buggy. Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Really in the chopper bunch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you later, guys.
Yeah.
See you, Paula.
But Spinner, I know you're a Spider-Man fan. I'll show you one little Spider-Man book. I'm sure you got.
Oh yeah.
They were pretty cool stories, but the Betty Brant was the weird one. Her being Spider Girl. But those
Yeah, I
first
don't know if I
10,
had that one or not.
those first 10 are getting kind of hard to get, I think. But
Especially number 10.
3 is the best.
Yep.
Love number 3.
well, and of course the first one, Spider-Man is joining the Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The second one, the Hulk. What if you had the mind of Bruce Banner or something like that? But yeah,
Those first 3 issues, those came out like right after I've been collecting for just under a year. And so, yeah, I mean, I got the Superman, Spider-Man tabloid, and then this. Like, man, this hobby's just going to be great forever.
yeah.
Yeah, little did you know.
Well, it still is, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
has nothing to do with what's happening every Wednesday.
No. No, but yeah, number 3, man. If someone's asked me why do you read comics or what do I need to read to get into a comic, I would give them number 3 of What If. That's how much I covered that book. That's.
I thought Klaus Janson was just the most amazing inker, and then because he was also doing the Defenders at the time, Keith Giffen.
Oh yeah.
And I saw the first issue that Janson took off. It's like I open it, I go, what in the blue hell is this? Because at the time I hadn't developed an appreciation for Kirby.
Yeah.
And Giffen was absolutely in his Kirby homage phase.
Oh yeah.
It's like I think it went from like Klaus Janson to like Mike Royer. I think is even like one of the Kirby like inkers, and
right.
Oh my god! But yeah, number 3 was just, and the coloring was just so
everything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It's just the coloring, the writing, the art, the story. I mean, you're talking about, true heroism. I mean, it's everything you want in a comic book is in that. Is it
right?
It was so good. Mike could just put his seething hatred of Gil Kane aside for one issue and just enjoy it.
The Conan coming to 1970s.
Oh yeah,
pretty cool.
That's classic.
One of the what ifs that doesn't really get talked about a lot is what if the Invisible Girl died, and it showed Reed Richards he loses his mind and becomes crazy, and that was really cool stuff.
Yeah, man.
What If was not a fan of the Reed Sue dynamic.
Eric, did you like Klaus's work on Frank Miller's Daredevil run?
Yeah, I liked his inking over Miller, but what I'm not a big fan of is his art.
Yeah.
And when he ended up taking over the art altogether, it looked kind of the same, but you could tell that that's not really his strong suit, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, as an inker, he's to me, I liked him better even than Austin and Rubenstein, whoever the most prolific inkers of that time were, because he could make anybody's art look better. He could make good artists look great, and he could make not so great artists look good to very good. I would have liked to see what he could have done with an issue of an Invaders. See if he could have fixed 1977 Frank Robbins.
Yeah.
There we go. I go to cough and I mute the microphone. And then I was very much a couple of years younger than you guys, and I was really fascinated with Wolverine, the X-Men, the John Byrne stuff. So when they did What If Wolverine Killed the Hulk, I thought that was outstanding. What If Phoenix Did Not Die? And I know Eric likes the Korvac saga. That Korvac ends up surviving and taking on everything, I think, in the universe. That's pretty cool too. Just You got the impression that Marvel was writing them in the way of saying, "See, we know what we're doing. If had we done it this way, look how crazy that would have been." So
Good point. Good point.
don't ever question how good we are. This is why we killed Gwen Stacy and blah. Because people would always challenge them. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, that I don't know if you guys are familiar with the person he's talking about, Riley Rossmo. He's someone who inexplicably continues to get work.
Oh,
and yeah, my response is nobody's that good.
We're talking about the Invaders, I think.
I love the Invaders.
Yeah, Spinner, I thought, well, I'll just show him that Spider-Man. That one doesn't get shown too often. And
No.
I thought, well, I knew you were coming on a little bit later. So, yeah.
Speaking of Invaders, there's
you
one
got?
right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Just happen to have something here. But I'll show a few more. So there's a Steranko. Strange Fields. I always like this issue. I think the dragon in the background there is pretty cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
And here's one that I'm sure everybody's seen before.
Oh yeah, man, classic. Well done. That's a beautiful copy.
I will tell you that a friend of mine who was an art dealer for a while, he had the original art to this comic book.
Wow.
And I saw it, and he sold it quite a while ago. But I will tell you that it was pretty ugly. And the reason why is because this whole everything was basically black, and it was missing. It didn't have the logo or anything on it. So it was the surfer, and then this kind of black space with the white stars, but of course this coloring was missing.
Huh.
And the black and the inking on it was just kind of splotchy. So I didn't think it was a particularly nice piece of art, but anyway. Now, issue of the Submariner number 14. Do you guys? Who would you guess is the cover artist on this? Because I completely missed it.
Looks like Colin.
Yeah, Gene.
That's who I thought, but it is not. It is Marie Severin.
Wow.
Can you believe that? But it sure looks like Gene Colan, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Now, sometimes she would fix a face. Like if Marvel said, "Can you fix his nose or ears?"
Yeah.
Could it be that she has altered something and then got full credit, or?
I don't think so, because actually you can bring the original cover online, and at the bottom it says Marie Severin.
Okay.
So, and then here is Dr. Doom. And this, of course, is John Buscema.
Mm-hmm. Great cover.
Yeah, that should have made Submariner sell pretty good that month.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful copies.
And then there's John Romita.
Yeah, it looks a little better than my copy. Yeah.
Wow.
I've got it in a Mylar or a Mylite, and then in a top loader, as you can see, because I think I had this one on one of my spinner racks. And sometimes I'll put them in top loaders.
Do you have the first part of that story?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
And then we'll move to DC.
Oh, beautiful. Love the challenge.
This cover was by Bob Brown.
You should put that cover with a bunch of Sea Devils.
Yeah. And here's another one.
Oh,
Very nice. Very nice.
And I only got a few more. I'll hold off and show them a little bit later here if you'd like.
Cool. All right. Do either of you other two guys have anything?
I got a few things. If you don't have anything, Micah.
I do have a little bit of stuff. Not too much. I've got a little bit of Harvey. And one thing I like on this show is the eclectic showing everything. So,
Oh yeah, of course.
it's from 1973. So,
Great.
bailing out with the dollar bill. I love the little, I call them TV sets, the little
Yeah,
icons.
yeah.
If you look, let me get my finger in the right spot over here. See that airplane? That must be what he bailed out of.
Wow. Check
Yeah.
that out. There
Nope.
you know.
He needs a backup shoot, I think, but I guess he was pretty competent. Another Harvey. Here's a little Dot in Dotland, number
Oh, that's-
32.
Wow, look at that.
June of 1967. And there's just something innocent and
Oh, yeah.
sweet about these Harveys. I mean, I guess that's a horse in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's just wild stuff. And I didn't know if Howler was going to be able to show up. I wanted to amaze him because he likes little monsters.
That's cool.
Remember the shadow walking on the tightrope earlier?
Yeah, right. At least they're more balanced, right?
Yes, the woman and a gun. And there we go. And one more. They're giving their pet alligator a bath.
No, he's enjoying that.
Yeah.
Horrible Orby and awful.
Yeah, and he eats her on page 2.
Only for a little while. So, all right. There's Eric again.
Well, that's on his.
Well, you're not supposed to,
Think about that.
Oh, Shannon, we need you. Quit your job.
Yeah, he's still on nights, huh?
Yeah, for another. All right. Yeah, Steve, I'll go ahead and send it your way.
Okay. I think I've showed these before on the channel, but they're just in the box. But Vicky from Atlas, very heavy shit.
Wow.
First issue, square bound, which is nothing written on the binding. But yeah, Vicky 1, Vicky 2.
Fantastic. Atlas should have stuck around just for that book, man.
Yeah, really, right? And here's Vicky 3, and a really nice copy as well.
Yeah, artistically, it looks better than that Archie knockoff called That Wilcom Boy. It
Okay.
just looks a lot better, and it's a shame.
Here's number 4.
Nice.
Last 4, well, the only 4 issues of Vicky. And that's all I had to show. Just I know they've been on here before, but they ended up in that box, so I just want to show them again. I really like that collection.
Is that the box you're going to reread soon, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I just took a chunk out and put it in, and just open it up next to my chair and take a book out and read it.
I ought to do that with my Boris Karloffs. I really want to.
Oh yeah, that'd be good reading right there.
I just read number 2 yesterday, and I go here, page 70. Hey, where's page 79 and 80? And I look and I go, oh, there it is, torn out.
Oh man.
Of Boris too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's like 8 or 9 stories in there, so at least yeah. Still that increased the salt content for a moment.
Well, Eric, do you have anything?
Last week we were gonna show stuff that weren't comic books themselves, and I drug all these out, and we didn't get to it. So
cool.
Then I realized here it is a week later. My lazy ass hadn't put them away, so I'm gonna show them tonight.
Yeah, kick it.
Start with Choke Gasp. I assume everybody's got that here.
I do not. I hate to say it.
It's wonderful. I mean, it's 500 pages of awesome EC stories.
Is the Dark Horse put it out?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I had to check that out.
Keep the EC here for a moment. Foul Play.
Ooh.
And the guy put it together is a guy named Grant Geisman. He did the Taschen EC book that came out a couple years ago that I don't have, unfortunately, but he's also a jazz musician. And right after I learned that, the next stack of CDs I saw at my brother's store, there was a Grant Geisman in there. Because you can't make that stuff up. Here's Tales of Terror.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like about this. It's got all the covers.
Okay. Yeah.
About them, and so I picked up the Weird World of Eerie Publications.
Nice.
Yeah, not the most spectacular comics ever produced, but there's just something. I mean, there's something about them, and it talks about all the people that worked for them, and it's got the random covers thrown in, and
it's history, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I love this kind of stuff. Here's the horror.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I've got that one. The DVD is pretty decent too. I
still have the DVD. Yes, it's still in there. I should maybe throw that in and see if it plays. Here's more forgotten 50s code horror. I mean, this was a lot cooler. Haunted horror kind of gave me monthly installments of this kind of stuff, but up until that point, it was either this or books that were hundreds of dollars a piece. Here's a classic era of American comics.
Wow.
Featuring David Letterman versus Batman here. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not.
Here's a DC superhero, or no, not DC. This is just a book on superheroes in general. I like that cover. Kick out of that. Cool. And a couple other ones here. Do any of you guys have the Tomorrow's American Comic Book Chronicles?
Yeah, I've got the 50s and the 70s.
No, I've never heard of them.
They're the company that does Back Issue and Alter Ego, and now Retro Fan. They're advertised in the back of all their books. Highly recommend. And Steve, these two that I've got here, because I have the ones you mentioned are the 60s. It took two volumes.
Okay.
Especially given the stuff that we show on this show.
Yeah.
But Dave, they each year they tell you what's going on in the world in a timeline, and then they'll just go through each
Oh,
major
wow.
company and say what was going on at the company, and it's it's very well researched. And like I said, these are probably the best reference books, because I mean I've got the Mike Benton comics history, the 6 volumes of that. But these are just, I mean, because Dell, Gold Key, all of them are covered in pretty decent detail in these.
Are they still in print or?
I believe so.
They are.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't keep the back. Ironically, it's hard to get back issues of back issue. You can get them digitally, but as far as I know, they've kept all of these in print.
Okay.
But that's all I got.
Hey Eric, have you seen the Jackie Estrada photograph books that you took of comic conventions of professionals and stuff from the 70s all the way up to the 90s? Tomorrow puts it out as well, but they're candid pictures of professionals throughout all the Comic Cons throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And Jackie Estrada took all these pictures. She had the ins and outs to do this, but they put out I can't find my 2 volumes right now, but when I do, I'll show them.
Oh, I'd love to see those.
It's pretty good information. It's pretty neat to see all these old pictures and stuff.
Yeah, cool. I just love the reference books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you guys any of you guys have the Fiction House one?
No.
It's gorgeous. It's it's oversized. But the print is microscopic. Now, Fiction House hasn't been around. I mean, that's even older than all of us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that if any reference book needed large print,
right,
it would be something that would appeal to fans of Fiction House?
Agreed.
They printed that for those 15-year-old biographers that are going to be swarming the place.
Yeah.
You guys hear my wife's phone?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm trying. Okay. Well, I ran and grabbed this other What If, because I was talking about it earlier.
Okay.
All right.
Annihilus. Yeah, man.
He just goes absolutely crazy. And I like Ron Friends, and especially if you want to see him mimic a Kirby shot.
Oh, that's cool. I need to reread this. This was good. I forgot about this.
And it goes, not to be a big spoiler, but there he is. He's done about everything he can. He's fighting Annihilus. Am I pronouncing him right? Annihilus? Yes. Annihilus?
Annihilus.
Yeah. And obviously it doesn't look good for old Reed. And there you are at the last page. Submariner. So, and of course they have to top it off with Qbert. I could have come up with a better back cover than Qbert. And I kind of think it was stuff like this that was getting a lot of kids a little younger than me to put comics down, because they could spend all their quarters on
still that way.
Yeah. So we kind of take shots at what hurt the industry, and everybody takes a shot at the Comics Code or Wortham. But I kind of think it was Pac-Man and stuff like that. But anyway, I could be wrong. But
well, comic books have become too pricey. New ones. You think about the hours of entertainment you can get out of a video game nowadays, and you read a comic book in 10 minutes, and it costs you $5-6.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I would ride my bike to the gas station. I would buy a couple of books. I'd buy a candy bar, and I'd put a quarter in Pac-Man, and I divided it all out. But yeah, then you had game systems that came into your home, and comic reading, I think, went way down. But
Yeah, for us, when we had the game systems in the house, it was only on rainy days. You know, you play video games or at nighttime on the weekend with your friends. But the daylight, we were out reading comics. We were out, at the pool or playing ball or doing something. We'd not be at home 30 hours on one game, It'd be, like you said, divvied up amongst a bunch of other things,
Rugg said 10 minutes, that's if you read it twice. Well, that's if you savor the art,
I think that's a problem. One of the many problems of the industry today is you can't compete with video games with live action.
No.
It needs to be. It's like, why do people still go into stores that sell things that you can get online? Because it's an experience. If you make it a place you like, a destination, comics are no longer the equivalent of a destination, because there's nothing coming out today. There's very little coming out today. It's going to be remembered later today, let alone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not designed to be collected anymore. I think that's why so many of them are just social statements trying to appeal to people that like the idea of comic books but want nothing to do with anything that we're showing or what we love about the hobby.
Yeah.
And that's kind of expensive for cotton candy entertainment, especially if you're not amassing some kind of collection. I can't imagine. I guess I'm sure they're out there, but if you started collecting, say, within the last 10 years, it's almost like, I don't know. It's just there's nothing. There's no there.
Right. That's what you're saying. It's not tangible as it used to be.
Well,
they've almost become a commodity, for trading, for flipping, for slabbing, hoping you get a 9.8 and, trading it like a commodity, like you would gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think it just becomes kind of that's true, that for that segment of the collector's market, I don't think those people are reading the books, and I don't think they're made to be read.
No,
like they are made to be slabbed and chased like that. When you used to open up, like baseball cards that had that chase card in it.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's playing hot potato with the latest stock, and you don't want to be the guy holding the bag when the bottom drops out on it. And it's kind of like either like a big shell game, and that's how those people have fun in the hobby. But there's just not a lot left in the hobby for people like us that like to read stories today that we'll be talking about 20 years from now. Well, yeah. I don't know how much comic book talking I'll be doing at 80, but you get the point. Maybe that's why all my interest is, in the rearview mirror.
Yeah,
we'll still be talking about what if.
Yeah, I mean, well, it goes to, as well as people not embracing this as the art form that it is. It's a commodity, just like Dave said. And once people reinforced it, as Eric said, to read the stories, to enjoy the artwork, and realize the crap that's around now, it's not big money like they think that it is. It's the older stuff that's more interesting. I think when the money's being spent on the older stuff and stuff that we like, not that saying what we like's better, but it was a true art form, unlike it is now. People buy a book, it's got a great cover, they say it's got a great cover, they slab it, and it's on eBay for a price that they throw on it. There's no talking of the art form anymore. That's gone. We talk about the art form in the 70s and the 80s,
Yeah, and the other biggest problem, we've talked about this before, is this idea that people that watch the movies will then discover the comics. And it doesn't work that way, simply because if you're us, we were just so amazed to see the stuff we read as kids make it to the screen. I mean, Superman in 1978 was incredible. Then you go 22 years later to X-Men, 23 years later to Spider-Man, and you realize, to say nothing of Batman, is that we never thought we'd see that.
Right.
But now if you can be 30 years old and you've known nothing but these characters being, in live action, and how does the printed page compare to that? Not very favorably.
No.
But if you're us, and the industry tried for a while to make everything fit the movies, and then Marvel turned around and changed out all their characters, so they did all the teen heroes while the adult counterparts were in the movies. They kind of like shot themselves in the foot two different ways. But you're never gonna that's not gonna work. So that should have, if they'd care, and I don't think they do, but comics should have never tried to capture that, because even when the first Spider-Man movie came out, there wasn't an appreciable jump in sales because of it.
No. If you look back at all the superhero movies that we've had, it appeals. I mean, you think about Superman, no big jump. The Batman movie, no big jump. The Shadow, the Rocketeer, the Spirit, as bad as it was, even though it's what we've had at the time. People might look at those movies and think they're direct, but the people weren't jumping on the bandwagon on these characters because it was just us. It wasn't. We didn't think a comic book, because it's in a movie, should be equated to being worth tons of money or being traded upon or just treated differently, like it's done now.
If you came up, if your first exposure to, say, Spider-Man was one of the movies, what's going to be more attractive to you, a Spider-Man comic book or the Spider-Man video game?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
By the way, I saw Time Travel Comics made a comment. Hello, Time Travel Comics. I enjoy your channel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, you look at those artists that Time Travel's mentioning. You ask the average moviegoer who's in these superheroes, who is Kane, who is Esposito, who is Steranko, who's Neil Adams, they're going to have a blank eye, a blank stare at you, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
And that is a problem with they did not cultivate the next generation of comic book collectors. So when you go to a convention, it's mostly people our age that are back issue diving. And it's always cool when you will see the occasional younger person, and it's cool that they have discovered that. It's just like when you run across like a 25-year-old that likes 50s jazz versus whatever is but so I don't know if there's a generation after this, because a lot of comics there's literally no market for now, because they're either if you just take a random issue of, say, Adventure Comics in the 100s, now say it's in 5 or above, you're looking probably at 3 figures at the least. Who is going to spend that on a non-key random issue when, if you don't have any of the other ones, you still need the rest of them? You're going to go chase that key. I mean, I won't even do it, because I don't have the 3 figures to put on a random book. So where's the market for those?
Yeah.
Well, if Gratu were here, he would say that Klaus Schwab doesn't want us to have anything. So we're not going to have it. So let's see. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
That's another thing. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the money being spent on those books, it's all nostalgia driven. I mean, we all live in nostalgia. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's what feeds this hobby, really. I remember the comic when I was a kid. I remember this when I was a kid. but credit cards are going crazy, spending $9,000, $10,000, $15,000 on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle first issue, which I just think of 10,000 other books you can have. That's 10 times better.
I agree, but there are people there are people of a certain age and a certain upbringing that is their AF-15.
Yeah.
And it's also old enough now to where it stood. Hey, Dominic, stood the test of time to where I can see where that has legitimate, collectability. And I agree with you, Steve. The only reason why if somebody said, here, I'll give you a first print #1 for $10, the only reason why I would even spend $10 on it is I know I could turn it around and make a lot more. It means absolutely less than nothing to me. I've never read one.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
I will tell you guys, I can remember seeing it on the stand at Mile High Comics because I had at that time a hold slot. And I can still remember picking it up and looking at it and talking to the manager of the store and going, "What is this crap?" I thought it was horrible looking. I could have bought up all the copies they had. I could be retired right now probably.
Yeah, man.
No,
I passed on it. I just didn't like it.
My LCS owner said, "You should try this." No, thank you. And I don't know how many years later, this kid from Kentucky did this. Yeah, and I live in Kentucky, and he had shopped in the store a few times, and he was doing this black and white zombie book, and he begged me to buy the first issue. I wasn't having it. I said, I said, Walking Dead, let me have this, right next to it was a book called Will Be in the Dollar Bins Next Year. I said, give me that one. It's in color. So yeah, that's we all have our Drew Carey in the fountain going stupid stories.
Well, Graphic Man, do you want me to show just the last few books, and then I got to cut out because we were supposed to eat dinner before I came on, and dinner was running late. And
are we getting you in trouble with the wife?
No, actually, she had promised to have it ready earlier and failed. So,
well, we should try harder then.
Give her a hard time. But no, I got to run down there before it gets cold.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. I've already showed everything I've got. So
here's just a random.
There we go.
These books are gorgeous.
Nice.
Wow, look at that white cover.
So that's how.
Well, here in this dry, cool climate of Denver, we have nice books, as you know.
It must be the air up there, man.
Well, it's dry. We don't have humidity, and we don't really have any of those bugs that get in and eat paper.
Yeah.
That's why the high collection is probably what it is. But this is one of Submariner was never really a big character for me, but I love some of these covers. It's just beautiful there. And then here he is fighting Tiger Shark.
Oh yeah, you got that one. Look at that beautiful thing.
There we go.
Great cover.
Yeah.
And then finally, a couple. Since you guys were talking about them, I just have.
There you go.
Nice.
Good old Frank Robbins.
Yeah.
And when I started collecting, I liked the old Golden Age stuff, but it was too expensive back then for me. And this cover especially, it just reminds me of those old World War II.
Oh yeah.
Captain America with all these different things going on. Just tons of different drawings of planes. And then let's see. Here's Invaders #2.
Yep.
Nice.
God of Storms.
And that's
Good stuff.
all I've got.
Well, it looked good.
All right, gents. Well, I'm going to bow out. And
all right, Dave.
So have a good evening.
We'll probably pull the plug here in a minute.
You too. Take care, Dave.
Thanks for coming. So I don't know if you guys have anything else.
Nah,
Okay.
I'm good.
We
I always
almost
got something for the next show.
Yeah. What I love is seeing everything we got. That's why I try to show a little Harvey, a little Gold Key, and then in the DC and the Marvel, it's just fantastic. And then Eric pulls out, ACG and
Frankenstein.
yes.
I can feel the envy coming through my computer. Yeah, now when I read back issues, I just fill a short box, A to Z, company. I don't separate companies anymore. So that way, when we do these, I can just reach and just pull a handful out.
That's what I did. I did the same thing.
Now, when I need to find a specific book, I am. What is that letter that comes after E? D.
Yeah,
right?
I'm the same way. I do it to stay in my life, but that's the fun of it, though. That's just part of it.
Yeah, at some point I'm going to have to organize, but I'm not looking forward to that.
No, takes too long. You got to stop to read things.
I have my organized stuff, and then I have the stuff for Graphic Man, so 4-color fossils.
Nice.
And then this will go out to a table, and then within about a week, it'll finally get filed away, and then I'll pull out a whole bunch of other stuff. So I worked a little bit today at the bookstore to get a few of these books, but like the that DC Presents with the Commandy, but they make me look at all these moderns, and I have to file those things away, and my head starts to swim. I can't. I look at that and I go, why would they print this?
Yeah, so uninspired, Drek.
It's like the entire industry sponsored by Tumblr. Because so many of the indies just, what the hell? Wow, Jeremy Giambi died. Jason's lesser-known little brother. Yeah, it's just some of these books. They just look like they belong on webtoons. And again, I can't. I will never say anything against anybody that does anything in this hobby, because I said I've collected everything under the sun. But I can't imagine the upside of collecting just indie comics that just all look the same, the stories that you're not going to remember a month after the series ends.
That's the thing. You're not going to remember it. And these people, like I'll see on Instagram, some Star Wars comic book with some new appearance, someone from The Mandalorian, selling for $900. Who's going to remember that comic book a year from now when the next hot thing comes up? That comic book no one's going to care about. But take that $900 and buy old Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, something, or thing you can think of from the Golden Age. Spend $900. I mean, I'm not telling anyone how to spend their money, but it's not there now. It's going to be wrong.
I think what happens there, and it took me a while to figure this out because I'm not a smart man. That's those things that we're talking about, like those Star Wars and things from a few years ago, those hot books, whatever they may be. Again, that's there. AF-15s and stuff like that. So we're older, and we can't. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to us. But if you're 25, 28, or whatever, and you're in this hobby, you probably just can't even conceive of going back that far because it's so expensive. And so you're kind of you set your parameters into a more modern sphere. And so I said, so getting the prize book of your era. I mean, I saw somebody. We bought a collection off a guy, and it had Edge of Spider-Verse #2, which is the first Spider-Gwen. We didn't do anything to it. I just took it up to the counter, and one day later, a guy drops $800 on it. We could have slabbed it and got even more.
Yeah.
But that character is very popular with newer readers.
Mhm.
And that's kind of a grail book, just like the first whatever Ultimate Fallout #4, I think, which is the first Miles Morales. That's going to be the next generation's Amazing Fantasy 15. It's because it's their Spider-Man.
Right.
And yeah, I said I can get that part of it, because anything that spurs the collecting, there are people that actually want that for their collections. That much I can kind of get. Because I mean, at least that looks like a comic book.
Mhm.
But some of these other things that just with just people that don't look like people, and just everything's
Yeah.
But again, that's probably just me yelling at the cloud. But
Right.
No, well said though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good perspective to put. I didn't think of it in those terms. There's always going to be those handful of things that are going to stick, and what you mentioned, Eric, are going to stick. The Spider-Gwen, the Deadpool, the Miles Morales, they're going to stick. I get that.
Jerry, he's your Spider-Man. Accept it.
Yeah, right.
But the most of the stuff, I don't see the thrill of it, or any type of inspiration from it. I don't get that thrill from most of the newer stuff, because there's independent I still enjoy from Kickstarter and some independent publishers, but nothing like picking up an old Dell or Gold Key or old Marvel or DC or something like that. It's just it's not there for me.
Yeah, we'll say, and honestly, Miles Morales, I mean, he does nothing for me, because I was already older in the hills when he was created.
Yeah.
But he is the first. He's like the only character that's been created in the last 10 plus years that people legitimately like.
Understood.
I mean, the rest of them, whether it's America Chavez or Kamala Khan, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have their fans, but they're people that like the idea of them, feel they should like them. But there's no great Kamala Khan story out there.
Right.
There's no great. I don't know if there's a great Miles Morales story out there, but people genuinely like that character. I mean, kids come into the store looking for him. They kind of have to be led to some of these other characters that have been like a Riri Williams, or Amadeus Cho. Once he stopped being, he started off messing with Bruce Banner, online. Then after World War Hulk, he became Hercules' sidekick. It was a fantastic character. The moment they turned him into Gogurt Hulk, trash.
It's too bad. Bad.
Who knows, Lead Paint? I don't know.
It may not take long to read them. So,
Jerry, your bitterness is showing. Learn to love him, because it's the best going today. Woo!
now I'll be thinking about Ric Flair all night.
Yeah, he just left, or he just broke up another one of his marriages.
Oh, good night. That guy's had more chances than he deserves.
I don't know that there's another one that's gonna take on that broke down old son of a buck.
Wow. Yeah, I recently. This is totally off subject, fellas. I recently on YouTube relived the big lead up between WrestleMania 18, Undertaker and Ric Flair.
Oh, jeez.
Undertaker his character's changed. He's driving the motorcycle. He wants to fight Ric Flair. Ric Flair says, "No, I own part of the company. I'm retired." So he beats up Arn Anderson. He beats up David Flair.
Oh yeah, beats up his son.
Yeah, and goodness, it's just. But
funny.
you know what? It was better than anything they're putting out these days.
Well, at least WWE, yes.
Yes, exactly.
AEW is fun.
Yeah, I just saw where Maxwell beat CM Punk.
Yeah, I keep forgetting they moved it to TBS, and my Optics, there's a glitch and I can't record entire series, and I keep forgetting it's on there, so I missed that.
We've just totally bamboozled most of the people watching. They have no idea who we're talking about probably by now, but well, you never know. They might be
or they're all going, this stream is mid.
Yeah. Well, we should probably come to a close here.
Okay.
And it's always good to see a spectator in here. And we've seen a few new faces, Werewolf and Time Travel, and I'm going to miss somebody, but I'll just try to run through. Yeah. And Dominic has made an appearance. So we'd like to thank everybody. And Lead Paint's always been a great person in the chat. Thank you all, Jackson and Maranya. And
thank everybody.
Even the puppets early on. Yeah. We
thank everybody but Evil Black
Cat. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, Jerry holds it all together. So, all right. Well, with that being said, on behalf of my guests, Charlton66 and Eric Bring, we hope to see you next time. Hopefully, we'll have Dr. Silver Age and Jambo, and we'll have a few more regular faces. So, until next time, happy drawing, y'all.
Take care.
Kids.
Good night, everybody.